Hello. Well, welcome everybody. I bet we got lots of news to look at. I no idea what I even missed, hardly. Suppose would be good to get caught. Let's see. Did I have anything to say? Maybe who's busy in DC? Some people, some old friends, 6 people, including this crazy guy.
Hi, my name's Tim Hale. I did 3 years behind bars for January 6th. 5 years ago, the FBI and NCIS stole this suit from me. I wore this suit here on January 6th, where I wandered through hallways, danced in the visitor center, and took selfies with statues in the crypt. Was it worth it? I think so.
Pretty good, guys. I guess.
Tim won, Feds lost. Tim won, Feds lost. Tim won, Feds lost. Tim is the winner.
Jolly good spirits through it all. Is I don't know. Is the president speaking? Let me check out. Is Post still speaking? And I know he didn't know he was speaking. Let's have a look. See. Looks like no. But if y'all just missed this and y'all haven't seen it, we could check it out. Not, I'm sure Steph has plenty for us to get. We could just do that. Oh, I do have some stuff tagged. There. Oh, look, there we are. Hello. At the Capitol. Gee, I guess I got a whole bunch of stuff. My goodness. Tag more than I thought. The last stuff we saw together. What's this one? Kentucky farmer, Kentucky family rejects a $26 million offer to convert part of their farm into a data center. Despite the offer being about 10 times the going rate for farmland in the area. Damn. Good. Good for you. Keep data centers where data centers belong. Like around other data centers. Don't fuck up this gorgeous prime real estate. Kentucky's gorgeous, I should say that way.
If it's my way, I'll stay and hold and feed a nation. 26 million doesn't mean anything.
Some people might find it hard to understand how Delcia Bear can turn away a $26 million offer to buy some of her land until you spend a little time with her walking the dirt road she grew up on and in the house her daddy built.
My grandfather and great-grandfather and a whole bunch of family has all lived here for years.
That's Kentucky for you,
paid
man. My family's
taxes
still there.
on it, fed a nation off of it, even raised wheat through the Depression and kept the bread lines up in the United States of America when people didn't have anything else.
Delcia is one of dozens of landowners approached by an anonymous buyer, one of the major players in artificial intelligence, likely Google or Meta or Amazon, to purchase their land. The market value for land in Mason County is about $6,000 an acre. The realtor that came to her door last April offered her and her mother about 10 times that.
They call us old stupid farmers, but we're not. We know whenever our food is disappearing, our lands are disappearing, and we don't have any water and poison, we know we've had it.
Delcia's mom, Ida Huddleston, is now 82 years old. She says she does not need the money or the hassle. She was born on this land and she plans to die here, and she certainly does not trust the promises made by the AI companies or the people who want them to build here. So what do you say to the people who are in town that say, hey, this is going to bring jobs, this is going to bring economic prosperity?
I say they're a liar and the truth ain't in them, is what I say. It's a scam.
For Delcia, scam or not, she says she's connected to her home like Scarlett O'Hara was in Gone with the Wind.
As long as she was attached to that land, her spirit never would die. And that's the exact same thing for me right here. As long as I'm on this land, as long as it's feeding me, as long as it's taking care of me, there's nothing that can destroy me if I've got this land.
My family's still got my extended family, not family, but cousins and so forth. Still got a family farm out there. I don't even know how long it's been there. There's the way it is out there. Good to see it has not changed since the last time I was there. Kentucky's still Kentucky. God. Although I know Louisville gets a bit goop, but hey. Oh boy, Dario. Speaking of AI.
So just to back up a bit, I've been working on AI for 10 years, and probably the thing I've noticed most about it is how fast it's making progress. 2 years ago, it was at the level of a smart high school student. Now it's probably at the level of a smart college student and reaching beyond that. And on one hand, I think
it really kind of depends.
There's a number of very positive things that are going to happen. I used to be a biologist. I think AI has exactly the kind of skills that are needed to cure important diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's, to provide cheaper energy, many positive things. But exactly those same kind of skills, things like summarizing a document, brainstorming, putting together a financial report, makes me worry a lot that entry-level jobs in areas like finance, consulting, tech, many other areas like that, entry-level white-collar work, I worry that those things are going to be first augmented, but before long replaced by AI systems, and that we may indeed. It's hard to predict the future, but we may indeed have a serious employment crisis on our hands as the pipeline for the early stage white collar work starts to contract and dry up.
What's the timeline here?
Yes, so it's very hard to predict these things given how fast, given how fast AI is making progress. But I would not be surprised if somewhere between 1 and 5 years we started to see big effects here. I've heard a number of people talk about this in private. AI CEOs talk about this in private. CEOs of other companies talk about this in private. And I really felt that the message that this is happening hasn't been getting out to ordinary people, hasn't been getting out to our legislators or Congress people either. And so I felt I needed to speak up on the record. I do think that this is something we can prevent this, but we need to act now. I don't think we can stop the AI bus. There are 6 or 7 companies just in the U.S. working in this area. I just run one of them. Even if our company stopped doing what it was doing today, all the other companies would continue. Even if all 6 companies started, then China would beat us. I think that's a big and important threat. So we can't stop the bus, but I do think we may have an opportunity to steer it. And I think we need to get Congress people, legislators, the public to think about this now. One of the first steps we're taking is just measuring the effects. Anthropic has put out something that we call our economic index. And using the economic index, we try and track the rate at which these things are happening. At some point we have to go beyond measuring this to actually taking action, to trying to build our AI systems in a way that augments rather than replaces. But that won't be a long-term solution either. We need to think about what the government is going to do. And there's a wide range of actions that the the government could take, and it's not my place to decide which of those are correct, but I think the first step is people need to think about this and start taking it very seriously.
Yeah, and you're talking about AI possibly wiping out all entry-level white-collar jobs and spiking unemployment to 10 to 20%. So dive into the mitigation of this a little bit more. How could we mitigate the worst possible scenario here?
Yeah, so it's hard to know the exact numbers. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict the future. But what I will say is I think what AI can do, there have been these technological changes in the past.
All their bullshit, but it can't predict the future, huh?
But I think what's different about AI is it's broader,
Are we
it's
entirely sure
deeper,
about that?
and it's moving faster than previous such technologies. And so in terms of mitigations, I think one is just educating people in order to use AI. There will always be people who are using AI, and helping our workers to adapt faster, I think is an important move. A second move is that we may want government to kind of find a way to level the economic playing field. And this may be a controversial proposal, but something like taxing AI companies like us, we may need to get.
And that's a very interesting message coming from you, who runs an AI company. But you're doing a public service announcement for all of us in terms of this future concern. Dario, thank you.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Guess we'll see where it all goes. Man completely loses his mind after food delivery robot asks him to press the crosswalk button for it.
Fuck you. Huh? Hello, what do you want? What do you want? You want me to press the button for you? You want me to press the button for you, man? Go fuck you. Press it yourself. You took a human job and you want me to press the button for you? No, hello, fuck you. Excuse you. Yeah, excuse you. I'm not pressing nothing. You press it. You sit there, you took a human job, you take over our infrastructure, and then you want me to help you out? Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Press it yourself.
Don't worry, we're going to give them arms soon, sir. It will press the button itself soon.
You got
get your fuck yous in while you can.
Because you don't have the walk signal, but you don't walk, you roll. Well, that's too fucking bad. Again, it's a cold war. You can sit here all night. Tell whoever's food that is to come press the button for you. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. What the fuck you ever done for me? Mingo's just fucking stuck. He got the green light, but he can't go because it doesn't have the walk signal. Not my problem. Not my problem.
Interesting. For later. Interesting. All right. Virginia Public Schools, right here around me, this is just so crazy, are allowing foreign migrant non-English speakers to enroll in their high schools up until the age of 22 years old. 22. Right? 22. Under Virginia law, the standard cutoff for high school is age 20, as in as soon as you hit age 20, nope, you're done. No more. And even that's a bit much if you ask me. Like, dude. I mean, I guess they have to do it that way. Some kids will turn 9. Yeah, I guess. Late. You get into school somehow. It can happen. After a P-Day grade. Sure. But 22, man. Ooh. Beep. There you go.
A Virginia mom is speaking out over a statewide policy that allowed for a 19-year-old illegal immigrant from El Salvador to be a student at her daughter's high school, where he is now accused of groping girls in the hallways.
You don't say.
Classes.
Of course he's a groper.
Israel Flores Ortiz entered the country illegally 2 years ago under Joe Biden. And even though he's 19 years old, which is older than the average high school graduate, he was still enrolled as a student. And in the state of Virginia, that is completely legal. Virginia public schools have a policy for students from other countries. And that policy reads in part, quote, if an English learner student is enrolled in a Virginia public school and turns 22 during that school year, that student may continue through the end of that school year. Now, to put that into perspective, high school freshmen are typically between the ages of 14 and 15. So theoretically, this man could have stayed in the Virginia public school system until he was 22 years old, with people almost a decade younger than him. Now, 22 is older than most college graduates. And here's one mom's take.
It's terrifying as a parent because when I send my daughters to school, I think they're safe in the care of the school. And in this case, they absolutely were not safe. And I don't know what parent wouldn't be completely distraught at the idea that their daughters could be getting sexually battered while they're changing classes. This is a public safety issue. This is a problem for every single parent in the school, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're an independent, or whether you're a Republican. This is a public safety issue, and every single parent's daughters are at risk because of this policy.
Fairfax County Public Schools did not return a Monday request for comment, but did express that safety of their students and staff, quote, remains a top priority.
Could have fooled me. Bamberger, friends. This advertisement for an assisted suicide. They're doing ads for assisted suicide companies now. They have companies. I mean, I know someone's got to make the machine, but now they're people that do the actual killing. Companies.
Breasts are sacred. When I imagine my final days, I see bubbles. I see the ocean. I see music. Even now, as I seek help to end my life, there is still so much beauty. You just have to be brave enough to see it.
Except if you're dead, because then, you know, you're dead.
Breasts are
Hey. DHS says an illegal immigrant was preying on 3 girls under the age of 10 years old in Virginia. More from Virginia. Oh, nice. Nick, mine.
I'm in Culpeper, Virginia, where Immigration and Customs Enforcement tells 7 News that Angel David Rubio Marin was arrested for crimes against children. And a story that's become all too familiar in Virginia. This isn't his first arrest for a serious crime in our community. However, this might be his last. Culpeper Police Chief Chris Settle tells me Rubio Marin was living in Manassas when he logged onto Roblox, a gaming site popular with little kids. There, police say the 20-year-old interacted with at least 3 girls under the age of 10 years old, children who he offered money if they would send him sexually explicit videos and photos of themselves.
He was offering digital currency and cash.
Through the Cash App, yes.
For lewd photos of these 3 girls under 10 years old.
Yes. Well, the man is obviously a bad actor in our community and someone we don't want in our community.
When a 9-year-old Culpeper girl told police what was going on, they contacted Manassas police, who arrested Rubio Marin and brought him to Culpeper to face charges.
What I want our community to learn is there are bad actors out there, and I hate to say that. There are truly bad actors out there that try to take advantage of our children and try to victimize our kids in our community.
In 2024, the same man was arrested in Prince William County and convicted on charges for masturbating in public. But his 90-day prison sentence was suspended, and he was released. When he was arrested again, Homeland Security issued a statement blasting Governor Abigail Spanberger for ending state law enforcement cooperation with ICE and called on local law enforcement to honor ICE's detainer so Rubio Marin can be deported. Now, I also spoke to Culpeper Sheriff Tim Chilton, and he told me he'll be keeping this illegal immigrant suspect in his jail until ICE comes and picks him up. Unlike Fairfax County, Culpeper Sheriff honors ICE detainers. Now, while we were here in Culpeper, Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger held a housing event where I asked the governor about this case, along with the murder of Stephanie Minter. Minter was killed in Fairfax County last month, allegedly by an illegal immigrant. Governor, what is your message to Stephanie Minter's family? What is your message to Stephanie Minter's family and children who have been harmed by illegal immigrants, Governor? Now, the governor did not comment on this case involving little girls, but finally, she gave a response to the Minter murder. I'll have her response ahead at 6 o'clock on 7 News. Reporting in Culpeper, Nick Minock, 7 News.
Go, Virginia. Oh yeah, what's going on with all this White House bullshit from last night? Did they launch aliens.gov? I'm assuming this is a viral marketing campaign for that. Did they launch it? Or not yet? Clearly not yet. But I'm sure you've all seen it by now. I wouldn't get too excited. It's just good viral marketing. Then there was the other one with lady shoes saying and launch on Thursday. Does have they put any more out? What? Oh, did they delete the one with the shoes? Cute. All right. Vincent Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, just appointed to Trump's, what is it? AI, like, advisory board or something, Science and Tech Council with Zuck and creepy Larry Ellison. I generally like Huang. The other two, no. No, thank you. Who knows? Huang might, I'm sure has something sketchy. You don't get where he had it for the most part, so. Compared to the other two, far prefer him. Saying here that OpenClaw is the iPhone of tokens. Quite a statement.
The reason why I was so excited about it, the iPhone of tokens arrived.
What do you call it? Wait, are you saying OpenClaw's iPhone?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Agents.
Yeah, agents. True.
Agents in general. The iPhone of tokens arrived. It is the fastest growing application in history. It went straight up. The reason why.
Wild. You just begun. Oh, this was fantastic. Also local to me, some semi-good news in my area. This is actually Maryland, but it's still around here. Homeowner waits until construction job is nearly done, then calls ICE on 6 of her workers in Cambridge, Maryland.
Pero por favor, bájense uno a uno.
Nos cayó la pinche ley, valió madre. Nos rodearon.
Reparations.
Necesito que no grabes y te comportes.
Estoy en todo el derecho de grabar, no estoy haciendo nada malo también. O sea, yo estoy cooperando, puedo cooperar con usted, no hay problema.
¿Estás grabando en este momento?
Estoy grabando, sí.
Okay. Y se lo puede poner.
How fucking long, pardon my French? I'll forgive her for this one. I mean, I've seen people talking shit about it. Nope. That's reparations. As certain people like to say.
No, está bien. La verdad que yo estoy aquí, no estoy haciendo nada malo también. Triste lo que está pasando hoy aquí. Estábamos empezando un trabajo y cayó migración. La verdad que perjudicando a la gente trabajadora, a la gente que hace bien al país.
Here, something along the lines of, he called the damn law on us, and now we're totally screwed. They surrounded us. They surrounded us. Bravo. Good job. Oh, this was so crazy. This was nuts, man. You guys gotta see this. If you haven't yet. Transgender attorney in I don't know where, Oklahoma City, I think it was, did not get their way. Things escalated, and before long, well, things go exactly how you expect they would go. I mean, based on how all these people behave, or just wait.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
Put your hands behind your
back. I can't.
I pointed you to the exact paragraph.
Stop.
It's her education.
Stop.
Stop because you don't want to hear what the argument is.
Stop.
These fuckers are.
You interrupt me one more time, you are being held in direct contempt of court, and
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
wipe that smirk off.
I don't have a
your face.
smirk on my face.
Oh, yes,
Using your card as a free pass to get away with anything, to walk over anybody, including a judge overseeing a case that they are an acting attorney on. Like, what on earth?
I am not going to tolerate this from you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Fill out the request, get the form from our court clerk's office on the second floor, make sure it comports with what you've got already, get it filed, mailed in, whatever you need to do. Let us assess her request. If it's
My client's not her child. There is no order in this court, and there's been no jurisdiction found that this court has jurisdiction over this child who has never lived in your county. Never lived. I did not. There was a pause. There was a break. I wasn't done with my argument.
And I was not done with my statement. You interrupted again.
Throws phone on floor like a child.
Not throw your.
I did not throw. It fell off the bench.
The phone that it just threw.
Please stop stating things that are not true, ma'am.
I claim it put it on the bench and it just fell off when you can clearly rewind the video and see that it just
I did
puts
not
it
throw.
on the
It
floor.
fell off the.
Do not throw your.
I did not throw. It fell off the bench. Please stop stating things that are not true, ma'am.
Gaslighting. Extreme gaslighters,
Sir.
people. They're the worst.
You've got a room full of witnesses.
I do. I put it down. I did. I put it down and it fell down. I did not fall.
Then settle down.
I'm not upset and I'm not arguing. You're not letting me make an argument. I'm not red in the face, ma'am. I'm not.
Stop. Our court reporter cannot get what we're both saying.
I am trying to make my argument. You interrupted my argument halfway through
This
on
is
an
a panic button
objection.
that will get every available deputy in
Yes,
front of
ma'am. I'm aware. It's happened to
You're
me before.
interrupting. It has.
Yes.
Because you're out of line.
Yeah,
Of course.
I guess so.
Okay. If I push that
Or maybe
button,
because I'm a transgender attorney practicing all over the state.
I don't know what you
Whips it out.
do, ma'am. It's not that you do.
I don't know whether
You do,
you're
ma'am. You do.
transgender,
You
other
do.
than you have just now
No, ma'am, you
I
do.
don't know what you are.
have
You do.
anything to do
It's
with
happened when we
anything.
talked on the phone.
That wasn't talking, let me tell you. You were entirely inappropriate.
You were yelling at
So-
me, and I did not even know you were the judge.
And I didn't know you from Adam.
I
at
said,
that
my name
point.
is Rob Hopkins. I'm
Which
an
doesn't
attorney
mean
in
anything.
Oklahoma City.
No, sir, you did not.
Okay.
Okay?
There's no one there to know that, right?
Okay. So we are pausing this until you get the ADA request form filled out and it gets processed.
So we're going to pause the hearing on jurisdiction that's been set twice. I drove an hour and a half to have the hearing. My client's available telephonically, and we are simply not even taking testimony
Is your client available telephonically?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, then get her on the phone.
Thank you.
It just threw.
Your Honor, to which we would object. This is as clear as the nose on my face that this woman will not appear before this court because she has a warrant for stealing
Objection,
her
you
children from another
say that's
court.
not true. And you're ready
You
to
will find, sir, that
don't
you
come
cannot
at me and
speak over me.
or shout at me.
I'm not putting that on record. No, we're stopping.
Get out of my face, sir. Get out of my face, sir.
You may step.
Get out of my face.
In the middle of the smack down in the middle of the Midwest. Like, what on earth?
You should leave this county.
Get out of my face.
You should leave this
Get out of
county.
my face.
These people
are my friends, and you're being ugly.
And get out of my face.
I just love it. I love it. Could just watch it over and over again.
Get out of my face, sir.
You may step
Get out of my face.
You should leave this county.
Get out of my face. Get out of my face.
These people are my friends, and you're being ugly.
And get out of my face.
Put your hands behind your back.
Why?
Because you're in direct contempt of court.
He shouted at me. No, I'm not being. You did not even say that I was in
You are
contempt.
in direct.
No, I'm not
Judge,
doing
I
my stuff.
apologize, but I felt very threatened by this person. Screaming and yelling in court. I've never heard that before in this courtroom.
Bye-bye.
Do not hurt me. Do not hurt me.
Your hands behind your back.
Do not. Are you throwing me over this?
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting.
Okay. Put your hands behind your back. Stop resisting.
You know exactly what's
Why
happening.
don't you all walk that way?
I can't.
Because you're transgender.
I'm being thrown down.
Just settle down, walk that way.
Settle down. Do not grab me. Do not grab me. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're hurting me. You just take me. You just take me. You're choking me. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Put your hands behind your
I
back.
cannot breathe. I can't breathe.
Good old testosterone injections.
I can't breathe. I can't Help! Somebody call 911! Please! 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 Please!
Legs are secure.
Ow! 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 Ow!
You get the point. Jolly good time. Oh, wow. Someone could, like, chuck a giant bottle of holy water in that room, please. Just for good measure. You never know. Reddit CEO. Look at this. This is a direct result of OpenClaw, I'm telling you. Reddit CEO announced he's forcing human verification on the platform. Yep. He'll force users to verify through biometrics on their device, third party, or government ID. Like Discord, same shit. Because they are being overrun with bots, like out of control. Somehow I think there's probably a better way to do this without, I don't know, just automatic digital ID. Probably verify people are human without having to every aspect of their actual real identity. Right? All the technology we got available. Come on. Oh yeah. Big news in the OpenAI world. Oh my goodness. OpenAI has dumped their video model, which is insane. they're completely dumping it. Like the entire thing. I don't even want to know how much money they spent on this. And it happened right after Disney pulled out of a deal with them. Really weird. And it makes me think something's going on with some kind of big legal hang up or something. Like they wouldn't yank out of a deal like that. Like Disney is massive. They were like the first major studio to jump into the AI pit with OpenAI and Sora. And then for them to like all of a sudden just back out of the Sora deal that they'd made, allowing generation of their characters and so on and so forth. God knows what else, exchange of technology, who knows. For them to just pull out of that, and then for OpenAI to completely kill the model and the app and the model, everything, all of it. Something really funky just happened there. Either massive copyright issues, like insurmountable, like they realized, okay, like as soon as this enters a court of law, we're fucked. This was trained on a shitload of copyrighted material, and we'll never be able to win that, or something like that. I don't know. Or it just would have been outrageously expensive to get it to where they needed it to be. Wasn't viable. Could be that. Somehow I think it's probably the first one though. Disney got in and saw something they did not like. Something bad enough that OpenAI just accepted the fact that they had to shut the whole fucking thing down because no one else would do business with it. Pretty weird. Haven't heard any explanation thus far. And then what else? They also killed, look at this. I had no idea this was even a thing, but they apparently also were developing an in-house erotic adult mode chatbot, which they are now also dumping following concerns from investors. Probably a good thing. Ew. Oh, CPAC, is that going on now? Yeah. Bovino getting a standing O. Tired now.
I would love to, since we are talking about the border right now, and I believe we have a special guest very briefly backstage, I would like to welcome out onto the stage our retiring Border Patrol Chief, Greg Bovino, who's here right now, and who I want to give a massive round of applause for delivering, ladies and gentlemen, these numbers. The man. I would love to, since we are talking about the border right now.
Okay, and that's it. That's all I had. Now I know Steph has a whole bunch. Feels so bad. She tagged me in a whole bunch of stuff the last couple of days. Wasn't sure if I was gonna make it back in time both days, and ended up not being. So I feel terrible. Tagged me in so much stuff. See what we can get today. Okay. Trump this morning.
Get away with this stuff and let it happen. We're not going to let the Democrats get away with this stuff, and people are wise to them. So they need to end the shutdown immediately, or we'll have to take some very drastic measures. This morning, I want to give an update on the let it happen. We're not going to let the Democrats get away with this stuff, and people are wise to them. So they need to end the shutdown.
Okay.
A total fool, and they're not fools. They're very smart, actually, in a certain way. And they're great negotiators. I say they're lousy fighters, but they're great negotiators. They are begging to work out a deal. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I don't know if we're willing to do that. They should have done that 4 weeks ago. They should have done it 2 years ago. Or they should have done it when we first came into office, because 2 years ago they had free reign under Biden. Sleepy Joe, worst president in the history of our country. What he allowed to happen to our country at the borders, and even with a thing like this. But not just him. Every president for 47 years, every president should have done this. They should have done it a long time ago, because you cannot give lunatics a nuclear weapon, and they would have had a big one. It stopped really when we did the B-2, but even before that, the Barack Hussein Obama, what he did where he gave them the Iran nuclear deal, gave them free will toward a nuclear weapon. Basically, he chose Iran over Israel and others that didn't want him to do it. But I terminated that deal. Had I not terminated that deal, you would have had a nuclear. The disgraceful Democrat shutdown. Now on day 41 of the disgraceful Democrat shutdown of Mark Wayne's department. Congratulations. He came into a department that shut down by the radical Democrats. Right? Now on day 41 of the disgraceful Democrat.
Good.
And anybody that saw set the record straight, because I've been watching the Wall Street Journal's fake news and all these stories that get printed like, oh, I want to make a deal. They are begging to make a deal, not me. They're begging to make a deal. And anybody that saw what was happening over there would understand why they want to make a deal. But they say, oh, we're not talking to them. Anybody would know that. And only a total fool. And they're not fools. They're very smart, actually, in a certain way. And they're great negotiators. I say they're lousy fighters, but they're great negotiators. They are begging to work out a deal. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I don't know if we're willing to do that. They should have done that 4 weeks ago. They should have done it 2 years ago. Or they should have done it when we first came into office, because 2 years ago they had free reign under Biden. Sleepy Joe, worst president in the history of our country. Set the record straight, because I've been watching the Wall Street Journal's fake news and all these stories that get printed like, oh, I want to make a deal. They are, but they will never come to ours. We'll come to their rescue, but they will never come to ours.
The UK.
And I want you to remember that we said this. They didn't come to our rescue. Now they all want to help. When they're annihilated, the other side is annihilated. They said, we'd love to send ships. They actually made a statement, a couple of them, that we will come to there before it begins. We had involved when the war's over. No, it's supposed to get involved when the war's beginning, or even before it begins. We had the UK say that we'll send, this is 3 weeks ago, we'll send our aircraft carriers, which aren't the best aircraft carriers, by the way. They're toys compared to what we have. But we'll send our aircraft carrier when the war is over. I said, oh, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. Don't bother. We don't need it. And we don't need it, and we don't need them. We estimate we'll come to their rescue, but they are begging to make a deal. We'll see if we can make the right deal. And if they make the right deal, then the strait will open up. Hormuz Strait will open up. And even now, we don't know if there are any mines. You know, they have 22 they call mine droppers. Think of it, who would have 22 mine droppers? Who would negotiate? They are begging to make a deal. Nobody's a match for the United States, but they're not a match for the United States. It's small potatoes. That's why I'm so disappointed in NATO, because this was a test for NATO. This was a test. You can help us, you don't have to, but if you don't have, if you don't do that, we're going to remember. Just remember this in a number of months from now. Remember my statements. They have an expression, a great expression, never forget. Can never forget. So as we end threats to, nobody's a match for the United States, but they're not a match for the United States. It's small potatoes. That's why here. And I said, well, now we have to take it in our first year. And I said, well, now we have to take an excursion to Iran, and we have to stop this maniac who's no longer with us. The supreme leader wasn't so supreme, no longer with us. It's very sad. But we have to stop him from blowing up the world, blowing up the Middle East, and blowing up our country, and we did that. And I thought, frankly, I thought the oil prices would go up more, and I thought the stock market would go down in our first year. And I said, well, now we have to take an excursion in the last our country in the last year. And again, we had to take a little detour. Won't be long. Going to end soon. We had to take a little detour, go to Iran, and we had to put out a fire. Very dangerous fire that could have blown up big portions of the world, if not the whole thing. So tomorrow we'll be announcing a variety of actions in our country.
Time where fighting at a time where we were about to enter as Christians the most important week of the Christian calendar, the Holy Week that celebrates the return of Jesus Christ to Jerusalem. And so I want to say to all of my fellow American Christians, but particularly those serving in the Gulf, that I wish you all a very blessed Easter, a very blessed Holy Week, and we continue to stand behind you and continue to support you every step of the way. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Fighting at a time where we were about to...
All right. What next? Rubio.
The most important job any president has is to keep the American people safe. And every president says it, but we have a president that means it and does something about it. As the president outlined very clearly to the world on the night this operation began, Iran has been at war with the United States for 47 years. For 47 years, Iran has been killing Americans and attacking Americans across this planet. And other presidents had an opportunity to do something about it. And they all warned about how Iran was dangerous, but they refused to act. And this president's not someone that's going to refuse to act. He's not going to leave a danger like this in place. He's going to address it, and that is what he is doing. From the very first night of this operation, the president made it very clear. People like this, and now what I'm talking about is not the people of Iran. The people that run this country are radical Shia clerics. These are religious fanatics. Look what they are doing now. At their weakest point, this is the weakest Iran has ever been, and look at what they're doing. They're attacking embassies. They're attacking hotels. Imagine what these people would do if they had a nuclear weapon. That is an unacceptable risk for the world. By the way, the president's not just doing a favor to the United States and to our people. This is for the world. He defined very clearly on the first night of this operation what the goal was. We were going to destroy Iran's navy, and that is happening. We were going to, if it hasn't already happened, I'll let Pete speak to the specifics of it. We were going to destroy their missile launching capabilities. We're well on our way to achieving that goal. We were going to destroy the factories so they couldn't make more missiles and more drones. And that is moving forward. Every single objective the president clearly laid out on the first night of this operation is being effectuated. Again, Pete will speak to the specifics of it. This has been an incredibly successful operation. Every day, it may not get covered because, you know, we're unlike them. We're not bombing embassies and hotels. We're hitting military targets. The most important
and more. All right.
The Department of War lets the drummer get wicked over every portion of Iran that has these military capabilities, and the results are going to bear fruit for the world. The world is going to be a safer and a better place when President Trump's mission here is achieved. And frankly, I think countries around the world, even those that are out there complaining about this a little bit, should actually be grateful that the United States has a president that's willing to confront a threat like this and not allow it to continue to persist. Because these people will kill as many Americans as they have a chance to do, and if they have a nuclear weapon, as the Vice President pointed out, they could kill millions of Americans in the future, and that is a risk that was not going to continue to exist as long as we had this president. The Department
Witkoff now reveals the shocking things Iran told him behind closed doors. Like what?
From them. The Iranians have the inalienable right to enrich. Then we
excuse me, sorry.
From them. The Iranians have
No, I didn't. Thank you, Kitty.
from them. The Iranians have the inalienable right to enrich. Then we heard they possessed enough 60% enriched material, 460 kilograms, to make 11
Hopefully they didn't come through on the mic.
atomic bombs. Finally, we heard the following statement. They would not give up diplomatically what we could not win militarily. In other words, they were again miscalculating the success of Midnight Hammer, which was a total success. These are incontrovertible signs, among many other signs, sir, that their regime had not given their negotiating team authority to make a deal required by you. We can feel them from them.
Possibly. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth just pummeled the fake news to their faces. What about
Navy leader? Now that here's the thing about the media, though. If President Trump had not acted, you'd be screaming, "Why not?" And now that he has taken decisive action, you're asking, why
almost certainly
did you? It's the same old tired playbook, TDS in your DNA. But the hardworking, God-fearing, patriotic Americans out there know better. And you alluded to this, President Obama, Mr. President. Here's a fact that you don't hear on your networks, but we know. Many of the Iranian military factories and bases that we're systematically destroying were paid for by the pallets of American cash that Barack Obama flew into Tehran, Navy leader. Now that here's the thing about the media, though. If President Trump had not acted, you'd be screaming, "Why not?" But we know. Many of the Iranian military factories and bases that we're systematically destroying were paid for by the pallets of American cash that Barack Obama flew into Tehran under the Iran deal. You might call it an inconvenient truth. Iran took our money and turned it into weapons and bunkers and ammo. And now we're destroying those weapons, and you're righting, Mr. President, that grievous wrong. And make no mistake, we had to act. And our objectives are clear. No nukes, no Navy, and a complete dismantling of their missile program and defense industrial base. And as Marco pointed out, that mission, and the VP as well, has not changed since day one. Yet, network shot 2 failed missiles on a target 4,000 kilometers away. For years, they told the world that their missiles could only range 2 kilometers. Surprise.
But still, that's
yet again.
It's quite a big difference.
Iran lied. And to the world, I say London is 4,000 kilometers from Iran. Washington, D.C. is 3,300 kilometers from Venezuela, another country President Trump did something about that partnered for a long time with Iran. So you're telling us that Iran is not a threat to the world or to the U.S. President Trump knows better. And here's what success actually looks like right now. You mentioned it, Mr. President. A-10 Warthogs, if you know them, you love them, and Apache helicopter gunships are flying strike missions inside Iranian airspace and throughout the Strait of Hormuz at will. See, you only send these slow, low-flying, close air support platforms when the enemy has no meaningful air defenses left.
What are we explaining here? He's doing his explaining.
Because I'm fixing up the Trump Kennedy Center. We're going to make it gorgeous and safe. We're fixing new windows, new this, but just all fix up. I got sued by preservationists. But you know who they didn't sue? The man that took this beautiful Federal Reserve building.
Yep.
That's small, much smaller than the hotel I built. I built the Waldorf Astoria Hotel down the road. And it was a beautiful job for $201 million. It's bigger, I think, than the Federal Reserve building. And it's got rooms and bathrooms, and it's not like just an open office space, which is much cheaper to build. Think of this. I hear he's going to be over $4 billion for a little building. He doesn't get sued by anybody but me. I sue because it's either somebody's very crooked, which has to be, because what happened to all that money? You can't sue. I would have done that building for $25 million. It's going to cost maybe $4 billion, and we have a great new person coming in to take over the Fed.
Who is it again? What's his name? Let's forget the name. New guy. Warsh. Kevin Warsh. That's it.
To maybe $4 billion and a building that may never be occupied by Kevin Warsh. He may never get there.
It's so insane.
We're going to have to find him some space in the White House.
So crazy.
We'll put him in the basement of the ballroom. But when, now think of it, when Jeanine Pirro and Pam and the group, when they bring a suit, it's like, oh, this terrible thing. And then we have a judge that attacks us. Attacks us.
Yeah, I wonder where all that money went, man. Making up for the lost USAID funds. I'm loading on Cali.
California Railroad, that's 100 times over budget. It's out of control. It was supposed to go from the middle of San Francisco to the middle of LA. Well, now it stops way short of both. It now goes into areas that nobody ever heard of. It's billions and billions of dollars over budget, years and years, maybe decades late. And that's why we have a country that has a lot of problems. In
Indeedy. Okay.
Beautiful cream white, it's beautiful. Everyone said it's so much more beautiful.
He says, no, I had no idea.
Beautiful cream white, it's beautiful. Everyone said it's so much more beautiful now. Instead of a cheap, you can't imitate gold. See, I'm a gold person. It's all real stuff. You can't imitate it. Someday they'll discover a paint that will look like gold, and the guy's going to be the richest man in the world. But you can't imitate real gold. It just doesn't. That's 24 karat, which is what this building deserves. But think of it. Beautiful cream white. It's beautiful. Everyone said it's so much more beautiful now.
It does look nice.
The will of the American people.
On what? Something to do with the will of the American people.
Democrats underestimate the will of the American people for short-term volatility for 50 years of safety that we are going to have on the other side of this. And I believe energy prices will be lower, inflation will be lower before we had the appearance of security, which is not real security. Now, the American people and the world will have absolute security. Through your maximum pressure campaign, Treasury has worked to uncover all financial lifelines through the regime and cut them off. You Democrats.
Besson just announced shipping traffic is increasing through the Gulf amid the Iran war. Huh. And that it will continue rising.
You're starting to see more and more movement in and out of the Gulf today, and this is more than yesterday, and this is the beginning. I am confident that shipping traffic will continue to increase on a daily basis, even before we secure the straits. Turning to the home front, you're starting to see.
Are you going to go in for the uranium? Like, how do you secure Iran? And
let's assume I was or I wasn't. Why would I ever answer a question?
Can you?
What kind of a question? Am I going to go in for the? Oh yeah, I'm going in. We're going in tomorrow at 3 o'clock. How could you possibly ask a question like that and expect an answer? I don't know.
Because they're dumb.
But I don't know. I think you're a friendly person too. It's just such a ridiculous question.
Who's Cool. That's good. That's a good sign. Apple announces plans to make more iPhone parts in the USA. Definitely a good sign that things that he's doing are having intended effects. Week, the FCC took additional action to safeguard Americans and the communications networks we rely on. Yeah, that's right. They, what was it they did? They, some big move. Something fucking major. Oh, the routers. Yeah, they banned Chinese routers. Chinese, like, network switches and stuff. Big deal, because I guarantee you that shit is behind, like, 90+% of all intellectual property theft that's been going on, like, everywhere. They're embedding shit in hardware that allows them to pull anything they want anywhere the shit's used. And
this week, the FCC...
We continue making all of our hardware there. Just done it for decades now.
FCC took additional action to safeguard Americans and the communications networks we all rely on. We did so by adding consumer routers produced in foreign countries to the FCC's covered list. Routers are those small boxes that many of you use at home to connect your devices like computers and smartphones to the internet. While these devices may seem indistinguishable from other pieces of hardware, the reality is that malicious actors can exploit security gaps in foreign-made routers to launch cyber attacks or otherwise disrupt networks. This week's FCC decision follows a national security determination provided by executive branch agencies. The executive branch determined that foreign-produced routers introduce a supply chain vulnerability that could disrupt the U.S. economy or critical infrastructure. They also found that they pose a severe cybersecurity risk that could be leveraged to immediately and severely disrupt U.S. critical infrastructure. This FCC action means that new models of foreign-produced routers will no longer be eligible for marketing or sale in the U.S. But there are 2 points in particular for consumers to bear in mind. First, this update to the FCC's covered list does not prohibit the purchase or use of any router that the FCC previously authorized. If a model is on the shelf today, you can still buy it. And this decision does not prohibit anyone from continuing to use their existing routers. Second, the executive branch national security determination included an exemption for routers that the Department of War or the Department of Homeland Security determined do not present unacceptable risks. So producers of these consumer-grade routers are encouraged to submit an application for conditional approval to the Department of War or DHS using the guidance attached to the determination. Now, back here at the FCC, we're going to continue working to safeguard Americans and our communications networks from bad actors that would do us harm.
A big move. Big deal. Probably would have been unfathomable just 5 years ago. Oh, good thing. Trump says Schumer will now make a deal because of threats the GOP will nuke the filibuster. Oh boy, I cannot even remotely hear that. Not even close.
Criminals, radicals, illegal aliens, high taxes, and putting America last. That's what they are. They put America last. Republicans are the party for every hardworking patriot. And we do something very much different than them. We put America first.
Yeah.
Put America first.
All right. Grand jury now has evidence on Brennan. Yeah. The big one.
Do you believe that John Brennan is actually going to be indicted by a grand jury on federal crimes?
I think they're moving in that direction. Listen, you never know until a grand jury looks at the evidence, but a very important transmission of evidence occurred this week. House Intelligence Committee.
This week.
This week, on Tuesday. House Intelligence Committee took all of its transcript of all of its conversations with John Brennan and sent them to the grand jury in Miami, the Senate has been asked to do the same thing. And I think the fact that Congress is now officially transmitting evidence to a prosecutor and to a grand jury tells you that they're getting very close to making that decision. The charges that the prosecutors are considering, lying to Congress, that's the 2023 testimony he gave, saying, I didn't rely and didn't want the Steele dossier in my bogus assessment, but obstruction of Congress, which is a heavier charge. Wow. They're looking at that as well. So, yeah, I think that we'll know by mid-April if there are going to be charges against John Brennan.
Is Brennan, not guaranteeing he's indicted, but is Brennan the domino? Once he falls, others will be falling after that?
Yeah, it's the fireworks that start the show. And then right soon after that, there's a very active investigation right now looking at the FBI agents and federal prosecutors who went after Kash Patel's phone records, Susie Wiles' phone records, on the allegation that they opened an investigation without a predicate, meaning it was a fake predicate.
Awkward moment for Jimmy Ratskin as Caitlin Collins corrects him that it was Democrats who rejected a DHS funding proposal from Republicans, even though it didn't include new funds for ICE.
Donald Trump was the one who essentially exploded the deal when the Republican senators brought it to him.
But then he met with Republican senators. Then he met with Republican senators on Monday night, and they came out of that yesterday and said, we've got this deal that would fund this and just have this limited subsection of immigration enforcement that we'll work on later, which basically Republicans were just going to try to find the votes on their own to pass and have that. And then Schumer sent a counteroffer this morning. That's what derailed it today.
Okay, well, you might be a couple steps ahead of me then. Donald Trump.
Judge dismisses, excuse me, Elon's X-Corp lawsuit accusing advertisers of illegally boycotting the platform. Zelensky arriving in Saudi Arabia on official visit.
Good to see you.
Wow. Dirty, dirty man. Okay. Let's see what's Korean leader Kim Jong-un and Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko signed a treaty of friendship and cooperation in Pyongyang. Nice gift. Pretty cool. Oh wow, it even has his own face on it. Fancy schmancy.
Спасибо.
And a sword?
У нас положено за оружие деньги платить.
What did he give them back? Like a trinket? It's like, yeah, gift sucks, bro. What the fuck is this? It's hilarious. U.S. versus Maduro. Oh yeah, court case going on today. He had to make an appearance.
Whoa. Wait a second. Now they're chanting a turn to Trump, pro and con. Free President Maduro and Celia Flores. On this side, they have Rod in prison, MFers. By my count, there's more anti-Maduro people, but the pro-Maduro anti-imperialists seem to have a louder broadcasting microphone. I don't know. We're going to go in. There's the courthouse. And here, Inner City Press. We're on the scene. We'll be live tweeting the proceeding. We're supposed to start at 11, but we'll see. At Inner City Press.
think we have more from that somewhere, but soon rips Chuck Schumer.
They agreed to a bicameral, bipartisan Democrat and Republican deal to open up and fund DHS. And then they walked away from it. They wanted to talk about reforms. The administration sat down, they talked reforms, they agreed to some things. Democrats kept moving the goalposts. Then they said, we don't want to fund ICE. And now they're saying we don't want to fund ICE and we want reforms. I mean, I don't know what it's just, they're talking in circles. I mean, I think there's a lot of chaos. I think they're really confused. I think they've got a crisis of leadership in the Democrat conference right now. And they've got all these different people, as you've seen them, going out in different directions, saying different things. So we're trying to narrow it in and home in on a deal that we can strike here in the next, hopefully in the very near future. Every single day they move the goalposts. And remember how we got here.
Job harder by keeping up his demands on the voter ID legislation?
Well, the president's very passionate, as you know, about that. I heard from him this morning. And, obviously he wants to get that done as well. And we're on that bill right now on the floor. If we get a deal on DHS, we will pivot to that. But we will come back to the Save America Act. We're going to have a vote on that later today on photo ID. I mean, this is one of the key tenets and principles of the Save America Act, is that people ought to have to show a photo when they go vote. That amendment, or that particular amendment, is going to be voted on today on the floor of the United States Senate. So we'll put the Democrats on the record, because they're all out there saying, oh, we support photo ID. They're going to get a chance to really answer the American people on whether they do or they don't.
Back to Solomon again. Tisha James now.
People have been clamoring for accountability for a long time. They've been waiting for a real sign that maybe someone who did something wrong will actually pay a consequence. Today, 2 criminal referrals against New York Attorney General Letitia James. They accuse her of defrauding 2 home insurance companies. Insurance fraud. The first referral was sent to the U.S. Attorney in Chicago. The second was sent to the U.S. Attorney in Miami and Florida. Both accuse her of acquiring mortgage insurance and homeowners insurance for her home under false pretenses, claiming the home was only going to be a vacation home when her family was living in it full time. These referrals mean that they now go to a federal prosecutor in at least in the case of Florida, a red state. And there's a good chance that there could be indictments in the weeks ahead. People have been clamoring for accountability for a long time. They've been waiting for a real sign that maybe
Here. All right. Okay. U.S. intercepted Ukraine government messages discussing plot to route money to Biden re-election. That sounds like a big deal. Newly unclassified documents show in 2022, Ukrainian officials discussed diverting hundreds of millions of U.S. tax dollars earmarked for clean energy. Wow, what does that sound like? Charisma? Back to Biden's ill-fated 2024 campaign. No evidence the intercepted allegations were investigated during the Biden admin. Gee, I wonder why not. Tulsi Gabbard recently learned of the intercepts. So that's what she was talking about the other day. Yeah, these are definitely supposed to be a big deal. Very big deal. Huge deal. Yep, they not only did they not thoroughly investigate them, they actively avoided investigating them. Yep. And that's gonna for a whole bunch of shitty people. Gonna be tasty. All right. Trump gives a huge shout out to Nick Shirley. Let's see.
The nursing home business and the daycare centers in particular, they went out and inspected them in Minnesota, and they didn't exist. They're knocking on, there happens to be a young man, Nick, nice young man. He's done a very good job. They're knocking on doors. It's like homes. and they're getting hundreds of thousands of them.
Jesse
They
King
didn't
is
exist.
doing a hit piece on Nick Shirley, by the way. Like, is it not obvious to people what she is at this point?
And in California, it's worse. It's even worse. And I spoke with Russell Vogt. I said, Russell, don't send them any money. He said, but we have a court order that we have to. Can you believe it? A judge. The judges are really hurting this country. Our judges, Justice Roberts doesn't like when I say it, but the judges are really hurting this country. And frankly, the justices, the Supreme Court, has really hurt our country too.
Yeah, she's insane, dude. I don't know what kind of dirt whoever it is has on her or what, but
In a destroyed house, interviewing gang members, happened to find myself on top of Brazil's largest favela. In a destroyed house, interviewing gang members of one of the largest gangs in Brazil.
Okay, I'm just gonna say I don't believe that at all. I'm sorry. I just, it's so stupid. I'm not even gonna tell you why I don't believe it. It's like if you don't know that that's stupid, that he infiltrated the gang in 48 hours. It's just, that's so dumb. I'm so tired of dumb. That's not how that works, okay? You don't just go up to gangs on the street as a nice-looking white boy with a camera and say, hey, I just wanted to sort of see what you're doing here. What's going on?
you'd be surprised.
Okay, that's just stop.
You'd
That's
be
stupid.
surprised.
Of course, that's dumb. I'm sorry, Nick. I know you're young. I hope, whoever is your contact that has you infiltrating Antifa and infiltrating El Salvador at the age of 23 years old.
Yeah, I'm so
It just feels
over. I just don't understand it. I don't know how people still do it. Still fall for it. Mind-boggling. No clue. No English, no license. Transportation Secretary Duffy reveals 17,000 truckers have been pulled off America's roads for failing to pass English proficiency standards. Wonder why. Olympics committee bars transgender athletes aligning with Trump executive order on women's sports ahead of 2024 LA Olympics. Good. Bamberger here in Virginia confronted about the Virginia mother killed by an illegal alien on her watch.
Hey, Governor.
Oh, this answer.
Welcome to Culpeper. Governor, what is your message to Stephanie Minter's family? What is your message to Stephanie Minter's family and children who have been harmed by illegal immigrants, Governor?
Trained monkeys. Body blockers. Look at this shit.
My question would be
Pathetic.
why when there was tentative deportation order, ICE did not deport him.
Oh, so it's
ICE
ICE's
had
fault.
him in custody.
ICE's fault that they didn't deport him because why? Why couldn't they deport him?
For 700 days, Governor.
All right, thank you,
and an
sir.
immigration judge would not allow him to be deported to Sierra Leone.
This false narrative was that I was getting fed Russian disinformation from Rudy's bad sources, and therefore my reporting should be repudiated. There wasn't an ounce of proof that I ever talked to a Russian. I didn't. There wasn't an ounce of proof that what I reported was wrong. Not a single fact in my story has ever been challenged to this day. No one can challenge it. No, the Hill did not conclude my reporting was false. So not a single allegation was ever proven against me. But before long, I had reporters and federal agents in my neighborhood asking my neighbors whether I was being funded by the Russian government, whether they saw Russian spies. My neighbors wouldn't even look me in the eye when I'd walk out to mow my lawn. And I began to get text messages from really powerful Democrats that if I just stood down and didn't report the next phase of my reporting, that they wouldn't destroy my career, but that if I did, that my career would be in jeopardy.
this?
My
for?
reporting in jeopardy.
What is it? But what are you raising money for, though? LR.us. Like Toys R Us, but for politics? Nonprofit thing, yeah. President Trump just eviscerated Somalis now. On to Somalis.
A lot.
Gotta hit the
It's
low-hanging
very
fruit sometimes.
Somalia-oriented. Think of it. These people come from a crooked country, disgusting country, one of the worst countries in the world. Acknowledged to be one of the worst countries in the world. Some people say it's the worst. They have no money. They have nothing. They come to our country, low IQs, and
terrible people.
They rob us blind. Stupid people.
Yeah.
And they rob us blind.
Yeah, they do.
Because we have crooked politicians, and we have dirty cops. The Attorney General's a dirty cop.
Cultural matter at play here.
My opinion. It's only my opinion. And something should be done about him. Let's see what kind of job he can.
They are like culturally sick. Want that shit here. Sorry.
You know what? Because I'm president of the United States, and because of the fact that I'm president of the United States, I did a mail-in ballot for elections that took place in Florida, because I felt I should be here instead of being in the beautiful sunshine taking.
But you were in Palm Beach, sir, the last few weekends.
That's right, and I decided that I was going to vote by mail-in ballot because I couldn't be there, because I had a lot of different things. But you know, we have exceptions for mail-in ballots. You do know that, right? So if you're away, we have an exception. If you're in the military, we have an exception. If you're on a business trip, we have an exception. If you're disabled, we have an exception. And if you're ill, if you're not feeling good, so I was away, mostly in Washington, D.C., so I used a mail-in ballot. But I appreciate the question, because I know it was so well-meaning. Yeah.
Yep.
That we weren't negotiating with them, and now they admit that we were negotiating with them. So they want to make a deal. The reason they want to make a deal is they have been just beat to shit.
Any last statement about what's going on here? Would you like to give any last statement about what's going on here? Nothing?
Oh, at the Holly Angels of LA Hospice Care, Inc.
Seems like it was pretty good family business. Another guy just pulled out in the M8 competition.
Good for them, bro. Why are you guys pocket watching, man? Leave the fuck.
What is it? Does a Gen Z speak?
People alone.
Because this is taxpayers' dollars that are paying for all this stuff.
Okay. What the fuck is he doing? That ass just working, bro.
With taxpayers' dollars receiving money from Medicare.
I don't know, something. Something.
Medicaid, Medi-Cal, you name it. And it just seems like a lot of people are getting rich off of
I'm busy, bro. I have work.
the death of old people. What do you do for work here?
Bro.
It's sad to think about it. Here in the United States, we're literally being defrauded by people who are taking advantage of old people, young people in daycares, disabled people with autism clinics, and no one's doing anything to stop it. So I think it's time we stand up to these fraudsters and tell them, let them know, you are stealing from everyday American citizens. People can't afford homes. Rents are expensive.
Completely fucking garbage.
Their insurance is expensive. Everything's getting more and more expensive. And if we don't crack down on this fraud, national debt's going to continue going up. This is just one of the factors that affects the national debt. And we're going to lose the value of our own dollar. So people, if they want to really fight to keep America great, a great way to do it is by fighting fraud, because this is just unbelievable. You have people who drive around in BMWs, M8 competitions, Mercedes. Meanwhile, everyday American citizens are struggling to be able to afford their own bills.
Disgusting. GOP oversight released a new memo exposing how sanctuary policies protect criminally illegal aliens, drain taxpayer resources, and put Americans at risk. You bet. All right, we got like 30 minutes left. We better like skip forward a little bit. Get to the fresh goods. Wacko Catholic school administrator fired after deranged TikTok fantasizing about Trump's televised assassination. After massive public backlash, delivers tearful apology. Oh, nice. Accept your apology, ma'am. Mass protesters in New York City.
Hamas here! We support Hamas here! New York City, you will see! New York City, you will see! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! But it is right to rebel! It is right to rebel! USA, go to hell! USA, go to hell!
Brother and sister indicted in alleged IED plot at Florida base tied to Iran war. One suspect in China. What?
On the evening of March the 10th, 2026, Alan Zhang planted an improvised explosive device. Often we will hear it terminology in the IED. For those who have covered bombings in the Middle East will know by that terminology. He placed it outside the visitor center at the Air Force Base in Tampa. The device did not detonate. But minutes after the device was planted, a 911 call reported that a bomb had been placed on the base. When that phone call came in, no location for that bomb was in fact given in that 911 call. The MacDill personnel searched the base and the entire base and did not find the device at that time. The next day, the individual who placed that bomb, Alan Zhang, and his sister made plans to flee to China. Well, he acknowledged that there was a bomb being placed, as I said. Basically, it was very short and very cryptic, but he said that a bomb had been placed on MacDill Air Force Base. The key to that, of course, is he didn't say where. Without going into the specifics of the device, why it didn't detonate at the time is a question we would like to ask Mr. Zhang. However, it didn't, but I will tell you that it could have been potentially very deadly.
It was only a matter of hours before we had viable information that eventually led us to the indictments of Alan Zhang and his sister Anne Marie.
Yes. Freaky. ICE agents at some airports begin checking IDs in security lines. It's unclear whether having agents helping with screening passengers would improve wait times. Travelers expressed worries. So what? I guess that means the lines are going to be moving? Yeah, here we go.
On the ground, a lot of more ICE officers than previous days on the ground, more involved. Federal sources tell me that ICE officers have already started checking IDs in Terminal A and other airports across the country. I'm told that ICE ERO officers in Houston went through 8 hours of training yesterday, have 2 more hours of training tomorrow. So ICE officers are required to go through at least 10 hours of training before they're able to screen these passengers. Now, check out this incredible video here. I walked through the security line from start to finish. We did a time lapse so we could show our viewers what it looks like from the ground. Now, I was walking fast along this line, so I wasn't actually in the line, but it still took me 35 minutes to walk it. It's basically like a giant 3-floor maze. So you start in the basement, you work your way up 2 floors. The line then snakes around the terminal before travelers reach where we are standing right now. And back out here live, you could see these massive lines. We're going to talk to my friend Jerry.
KFC's pickle puffer? Oh, it's a jacket. Pickle puffer? Sounds pornographic. Is this for real?
I'ma let my hair down now. Wanna get down to my favorite sound. I'ma let you in real close. I know
Wearable puffer packed with sliced pickles and pickle brine. Finished with a built-in straw so you can sip from it. That's interesting. Puffers. Yes, allergy season.
America, brace yourself. Allergy season has arrived, and in some places, it has started earlier than usual for some reason.
A record warm winter combined with dry conditions has created the perfect storm for an explosive allergy season.
Definitely noticed when I'm helping customers, some of them are a little bit sneezy or sniffly, and unfortunately, that's just the environment that we're in.
A report by the Asthma and Allergy Foundation ranked the worst cities for allergies. The most severe? Boise, Idaho.
Are all types of pollen created equal?
Yeah, that's a good question. No. And especially in the Atlanta area, because our tree canopy is so big, spring is very difficult.
In Atlanta, ear, nose, and throat doctor Tim Ryan says his phones have already started ringing with wary patients.
Most people wait to start to treat their allergy till it's too late. You wait for a high pollen count day and then you start on your medication. So you really want to start treatment early.
Doctors also recommend taking frequent showers when coming in from outside, keeping windows closed, using HEPA filters on high pollen count days, and don't rub those eyes.
Is there a point where, as perhaps we get older, where it's like, no, you're more susceptible to these sorts of things?
So we're seeing increases in allergy development later on in life. And we think that that has a lot to do with what we talked about before, the tree canopy and the longer growing seasons. So as we move along in our age, we can develop more and more symptoms.
America, brace your...
Yeah, we saw that. Oh, well, speaking of the assisted suicide company in Canada and their creepy ad. A young Spanish woman will be euthanized today in Canada, I think, after a group of illegal migrants gang raped her while she was in state care. Then I believe she tried to kill herself, and in the process of that suicide attempt, ended up paralyzed from the waist down, and now wants to finish the job.
Tengo 25 años y bueno, me quedan 4 días. Básicamente porque el 26 ya me hacen la eutanasia.
¿Has dudado alguna vez de, venga, paro todo el proceso?
No, lo tenía muy claro desde el principio.
Insane.
Es sobrecogedor. Es sobrecogedor el testimonio de Noelia. Hoy concede a este programa su única y última entrevista después de que el Tribunal de Estrasburgo avale su eutanasia, su decisión de morir. Enseguida con Bea Osa, que es en quien ella confía para conceder esta entrevista, vamos a escuchar un avance de la conversación en la que Noelia explica por primera vez y antes de morir su decisión.
Bad. Oh yeah, their little January 6th plaque on the Capitol. Ridiculous. Even CNN is forced to report that ICE agents are providing relief at Atlanta airport.
Any indication, Ryan, that the TSA agents in Atlanta, where you are asking people for identification, more identification to prove they're not undocumented immigrants?
Good question. Our producer who went through a little earlier said they were just checking IDs. Didn't seem like there was any other extra questions, and they were moving people along through. But this is something that's new, that's happened just today, and we know they've been training on certain new steps to help out the TSA agents. It'd be interesting to see what happens over the next few hours and if any of that gets extended. But as of right now, they're almost acting as a function as a TSA agent.
Any indication, Ryan, that the TSA agents in Atlanta, where you are at?
Drug czar Sarah Carter.
If not, and you're right, I work for probably the most important, if not the greatest, president in modern political history. And I feel like that he has shifted the conversation when you think about the issue, particularly of decades of the cartels and the United States, the battle that we've had with these terrorist organizations throughout the Western Hem. We have a president now that has shifted that. Why? Because he isn't focusing so much on the global. He's focusing on America first. He's focusing on Western Hem. He's bringing back the Monroe Doctrine, the Dunroe Doctrine, right? And it is putting the pressure not only on the cartels, but on the nation states in the Western Hemisphere. We're saying no more are we going to put up with this. No more are we going to allow these cartels and these foreign terrorist organizations, which he has designated now, to operate with impunity, to target our children, to target our people. And it goes far beyond just the cartels. It goes to adversaries that would be utilizing the cartels as proxies to target our nation. And we saw that, and we've seen that with the enormous amounts of deaths, particularly related to fentanyl, synthetics, other chemicals coming into our country, to the horror of the American people. How is it that we have, and we had 100,000 plus people dying every year from fentanyl and other narcotics, ODing and being poisoned? We are no longer going to allow that to happen. National drug control. So our national drug control strategy is set to be unveiled in May. Very excited about that. And we're already working, the White House is working with our Homeland Security task forces. We personally work with our high intensity drug trafficking areas, our HIDTA teams. We have our drug-free communities that we're working with to reach our youth. So this strategy is both the supply and demand side. And one of the most important areas that we're looking at is emerging threats. We don't want to wake up in the morning and find mass casualties. We don't want to see 10 years from now what we've seen years before this, right? Right now, President Trump, we've been able to, under this administration, see those drug deaths and those overdose deaths and poisonings drop. So this is a good sign. We're heading in the right direction. Between October 2024 through October 2025, we have just over 71,000 overdose and poisonings in the United States. It's still far too much. It's a war zone of deaths, right? We can't afford this. We don't want this. We want it to be zero. We want it to be zero. But that's a lot less than the over 100,000 that we were seeing at its peak, right? And we're just going to continue to work on that. Part of this national drug control strategy is to focus in on the supply chain. That means if it's coming from China, if it's coming from India, if we have precursor chemicals in those supply chains and they are being sent into our hemisphere to be utilized by the cartels, there is going to be a price to be paid.
Police busted this guy flying over 100 miles an hour down a residential street. Search the vehicle, they find a 24-pack of Modelo, cocaine, and some meth. When asked why he's driving like an absolute maniac and endangering American lives, his response is, sorry, no English.
Put your hazards on? Sorry, no English. Why are you going so fast down Turkey Creek with your hazards on?
No hablo inglés.
Because we're Turkey 28.
¿Por qué vas tan rápido por
Oh my God, they have a
con las luces
translator on fucking tap.
intermitentes encendidas?
Me encontré con un amigo y le puse la luz para que me conociera. Un amigo que igual vive en Princeton.
I just ran into a friend, and I turned on the light so he would recognize me.
This is from the Maduro trial.
Paul
Here we go.
Hey guys, Paul Morrow here for the Ops Desk. So I just got out of federal court here in Lower Manhattan where Nicolas Maduro, former president of Venezuela, made an appearance. Now, the issue is as follows. He wants, that is Maduro and his wife, they want to use the high-priced lawyers that they currently have retained, and they want Venezuela to pay for those lawyers. And Venezuela has agreed. On the other hand, the prosecution says no go. There are sanctions that remain in place against the government of Venezuela that prohibits them from being able to access the American system and to provide monies for these attorneys. Now, how is this going to go? It's hard to say because it's a separation of powers issue. And everybody agrees this is something that's novel. It's new to the American legal system. There's really no precedent for it. Does the Sixth Amendment right in court of a defendant to have the lawyer of his choice, if he can afford that lawyer, how does that go up against the fact that the money he wants to use is being held from him by the executive branch, which is prosecuting the case? The government is prosecuting him and also saying you can't have access to the money that Venezuela's agreed to give you for the lawyers of your choice. It's an interesting separation of powers conundrum, which the judge addressed, saying this is a very novel situation, and I'll answer it at a later time. That was the comeuppance. One other little interesting point, Maduro's lawyer referred to his client as the president, and then his wife's lawyer, they were both in court, called her the first lady. Judge let the first lawyer get away with it, but the second time around, the judge interrupted and said, no titles in this courtroom. An interesting moment. Paul Morrow for the Ops Desk.
Interesting. Okay. Second. Rubio.
I'm here on behalf of the United States of America. I look forward to meeting with them. I don't know what reception I would get from them. I think they should be happy that I'm going.
Well,
now we don't have to go.
They might be happy, but they're not happy with what's going on.
Well, again, I'm not there to make them happy. I get along with all of them on a personal level. We work with those governments very carefully, but the people I'm interested in making happy are the people of the United States. That's who I work for. I don't work for France or Germany or Japan. These are all good people. We're going to have great meetings.
Chemistry?
But I work for them. I'm here on behalf of the United States of America. I look forward to meeting with them. I don't know what reception I would get from them. I think they should be happy that I'm going.
Well,
now we don't have to go.
They might be happy, but they're not happy with what's going on.
Being asked to help in a war, and we have more than any other country in the world, on a war that's happening in another continent, in Ukraine. But when the U.S. had a need, he didn't get proper positive responses. So right now he's just making the observation that, I think there was a couple of the leaders in Europe who said that this was not Europe's war. Well, Ukraine is not America's war, and yet we've contributed more to that fight than any other country in the world. So it'll be something to examine. The president will have to take into account down the road. The United States has constantly speculate on what it would take. I'm not going to speculate on what it would take. It can be open tomorrow if Iran stops threatening global shipping, which is an outrage and a violation of international law for all these countries that care about international law. They should be doing something about it.
Rubio and help from the G7.
Well, it's not help for us. Like I said, very little of our energy comes through the Straits of Hormuz. It's the world that has a great interest in that. So they should step up and deal with it. Well, it's not help for us. Like I said, very little of our energy comes through the Straits of Hormuz. It's the world that has a great interest in that, and so they should step up and deal with it. Well, it's not help for us.
As per Iranian government request, please let this statement serve to represent that I'm pausing the period of energy plant destruction by 10 days, Trump says here, to Monday, April 6, 2026, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Talks are ongoing, and despite erroneous statements to the contrary by the fake news media and others, they're going very well. Oh. AI stuff. All right. U.S. House has passed a resolution supporting full funding to the Department of Homeland Security, 225 to 187. 95% of Democrats who voted went against it. 100% of voting Republicans.
To fund, Hill is willing to fund all of the security and safety of the American people. We cannot believe it's come to that, but it has.
If the Senate gets that through the Senate, will you put it on the floor?
We'll have to see. We have to solve the
One sec.
problem, and it's very sad that Democrats are not interested in doing that.
Mr.
Yes.
Speaker, does that mean that you're not in favor of breaking the DHS funding bill apart, just funding TSA, just funding FEMA, having individual votes on each section?
We have never been in favor of breaking the bill up. Why? Because it's one of the 12 separate appropriations bills that is the most basic function of Congress to fund the government. And we did it in a bipartisan, bicameral manner. Remember, the contents of that bill were decided upon earlier by Democrats until they decided to hold the American people hostage in their long lines at the airports and with the safety of everybody on the line to make a political point. It is shameful. There is no way for them to defend this to the American people. And breaking it out I think it puts an exclamation point on what they've tried to do here. It's shameful. So many people have been through so many hardships because of this nonsense. And what we're concerned about is people may actually be hurt. More people harmed by criminal illegal aliens that are being protected by the Democrat Party. And we're sick of it.
Speaker Johnson, are you?
Okay, almost done. Good. Air traffic control modernization happening now.
On a visit touting improvements to DFW's air traffic control, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
We use technology in a system that is very safe, but it's technology from 20, 30, sometimes 40 years ago. And so to bring in that new technology, I think is easier on controllers, but also a more resilient system, which means flying is safer.
DFW will see $40 to $50 million in upgrades from the One Big Beautiful Bill. New radios are being installed this week. Over the next 2 years, new radar, digital voice switches, electronic flight strips, a new display system, and a ground radar system to track planes on the runway. Duffy says telecom funding should also prevent what happened last fall,
the entire Metroplex radar out of service.
when a single-cut fiber line knocked out radar at the Dallas Tracom facility, disrupting hundreds of flights.
So this new investment on the infrastructure of telecom will make sure that we actually do have true redundant lines. And so what happened at DFW a year ago won't happen again.
Is there more that needs to be done? What challenges do you still see in the system?
So I got $12.5 billion. It helps me rebuild the infrastructure around aviation. But we need new software. Software is really how we manage the airspace.
Last year's deadly mid-air collision in D.C. and this week's runway crash at LaGuardia put an even bigger spotlight on modernization.
Are we putting too much pressure on this system, on air traffic controllers? Are people safe up in the air?
So, no, listen, we have the safest system in the world, again, bar none. But again, you see a few things that if I look at the system, I think technology and just the revolution around technology, it drives that much more safety.
Katie Blakey, NBC5.
Meta making a play from Main Street.
It has been a rough week for Meta. They've lost 2 legal cases,
Shutting
including
down,
one Wednesday that said
the metaverse too.
they created a harmful platform for teens. But now they're trying to change that narrative, and they are making a play for Main Street. Meta is launching an aggressive AI push targeting the 250 million small
Surprised
and
after
medium
the things
businesses
they recently picked up.
on its platform, betting that those businesses will drive its next growth phase as its core ad business faces mounting legal heat. Quote, small businesses have always been the largest category of our business, Zuckerberg wrote in a company-wide post announcing Meta Small Business as a new top-level company initiative. In the AI era, it should be easier than ever for people to build new businesses, he added. The initiative will be led by Dina Powell McCormick, Meta's president, and it comes amid an intensifying AI arms race, with tech giants scrambling to stake out territory as the advertising and marketing landscape changes as consumers embrace products like Claude and ChatGPT. The small business market represents a largely untapped AI opportunity, with SMBs spending over $400 billion annually on digital marketing and business tools.
U.S. Army making major shifts as it tries to boost recruitment numbers.
The Army is expanding who can serve. It's raising the enlistment age and loosening rules around past marijuana use in a push to bring in more recruits. Under the new policy, the maximum enlistment age is increasing to 42, opening the door for older Americans who were previously ineligible to join. At the same time, the Army is easing restrictions tied to marijuana-related offenses. Some applicants with past violations will no longer need a waiver, removing a hurdle that had kept certain recruits out. The changes come as the military continues to face recruiting challenges and looks for ways to widen the pool of eligible candidates. Officials say the updated rules reflect shifting attitudes toward marijuana use across the country, as well as a broader effort to attract more qualified applicants. The Army hopes the changes will help bring in candidates with a wider range of life experience, especially at a time when competition for recruits remains high. The Army is expanding who can serve. It's raising the enlistment age.
Second. Now to Trump from 30 minutes before I came on.
I'm delighted to stand before you today with a truly respected man of faith and a pillar of the Greek American community, Archbishop Eli Pidophoros, who is a highly respected man.
I like it.
And Your Eminence, it's a great pleasure to have you. Thank you very much for coming. It's so nice. We meet once a year, and I wouldn't miss it. And to all of the Greek American patriots here this afternoon, let me begin by wishing you a very happy Greek Independence Day. Big deal. I'm delighted.
Greek Independence Day. Maybe we'll come back to that. We'll watch that in full. I don't think I have anyone that's scheduled to come on after me tonight, so that on. No one else rolls in. What is this? Andrew Ferguson, FTC. Today, I put the CEOs of Stripe, PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard on notice. The Trump-Vance FTC will not hesitate to act against companies that debank customers in violation of their terms of service or the reasonable expectation of consumers. Hello, PayPal. POTUS talks Iran on the 5.
Well, I have to do something in terms.
Good. Cool. All right. Anything last minute? New files examined by law enforcement and intelligence analyst reveal Jeffrey Epstein. Ooh, interesting. Allegedly acted as go-between to block 9/11 victim families from suing Saudi Arabia, and details possible FARA violations. What if I told you guys before? People settling on answers about Epstein, as far as what country it was that was running him, or countries, I should probably say. Even mentioned Saudi Arabia before directly. I might be right about that. Week on Straight to the Point, I sat down with Morgan Wright, nationally recognized cybersecurity and law enforcement and intel analyst. Wright analyzes the new revelations from the Epstein files, discusses evidence that Epstein functioned as a high-level influence operator, allegedly protecting Saudi Arabian interests, which included apparent attempts to block 9/11 families' lawsuits before Trump took office. A 9/11 shadow commission with Ghislaine Maxwell is really weird. And bragging about SCIF access with Steve Bannon. Wright also says that Epstein fits the exact profile of individuals valuable to, there we go, also, the CIA, National Resources Division, and questions why Epstein was never investigated for apparent violations of foreign lobbying laws by either party. Spokesman for Steve Bannon did not dispute the authenticity of the texts, but offered no further comment. A Saudi embassy spokesperson confirmed receipt of our questions about the kingdom's relationship with Epstein, but did not immediately comment. The estate of Jeffrey Epstein did not respond to our email seeking comment. Spokeswoman for Catherine Rumler, former White House counsel for Obama, said Ms. Rumler did not take any action in either a professional or personal capacity related to JASTA, Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act, the 9/11 families, or their ability to sue Saudi Arabia. She was never asked to take any action on this matter and never did. Ms. Rumler welcomes the opportunity to appear before the committee. At the time she interacted with Jeffrey Epstein, she was a practicing criminal defense attorney and shared a client with him. He has done nothing wrong and had no knowledge of any ongoing criminal activity on his part. I don't buy that one bit. Not one bit. Boy, I know what I'm watching tonight. I'm going to be checking that out. I'll drop the link to it. All right, that does it for me. Elsie's here. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Nice, nice. You guys getting the cold
It's
weather?
actually like warm as heck today. I hope it still is, because
it's
coming. Yes, still
It's
74 freaking degrees. Heck yeah.
Oh, we'll send it your way. It's like
No,
freezing again
we
here.
just
in
got rid of the cold weather from like yesterday. It was like, I don't know, 40 yesterday. All over the place.
Dang. Yeah, I'm ready for spring now. That's for sure. We definitely need the rain. Fires are just nutty out here right now. Yeah. Yep. Much needed. And just done with. I love winter, but at a certain point, I'm just done with winter.
Yeah. Please.
At the end of the winter, I love snow. Love it. But yeah. Yep. Change of pace would be nice. Get outside, enjoy the day, all that goodness. Get some sun.
Yeah, some real sun.
Good.
For real. Yep.
Yeah. Sun is good. We like the sun.
Yes. All right. Well, I will let you get to it, man.
You guys got any? All right. Well, say hi to Radix and the kid for me, and you guys have a great evening. I will see you next Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank you. See ya. All right, everybody.
Okay, YouTube. That's it for me. I'm done. Got no more. I'm going to go kick it for a bit, get some more work done, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. It's Friday morning tomorrow, so I'll be here bright and early. Bye-bye.